Okay, hi. So nice to see you guys. Thank you very much for coming. It's a pleasure to see you here, at least few of you. So welcome everybody in the name of KD Launch Season 17. It's so nice to see you. If you haven't already, please suit yourself, get yourself a beer at the back in the bar, and yeah, make yourself comfortable. Also, for the people watching in the stream, hello and welcome. So cool to see you, or at least to have you. Yeah, we are currently having a live stream because of Corona, but that's no problem for everyone else. So everyone watching live and being here, make sure to support us and buy some merch if you want to. We have some fresh printed shirts in the back, so you can try them on, look at them. Otherwise, there's a link in our bio on Instagram to pre-order our merch. And yeah, so I think there's nothing left to say except for introduce our very first guest of this season. He came all the way from Paris and he's challenging himself in a very variety of creative fields, and I think he's very succeeding in it. He's challenging to morph fields of reality and digital topics together between humans, technologies, all those tendencies he's mixing in his work. And I guess he himself can show you the best way what he's actually producing and what he's doing. So please give a warm welcome to our very first guest, Basile Fournier.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you guys to be here. It's crazy. Yesterday we just text me like, it's COVID, you can come, you're gonna do a new team. I was like, no, I wanna, see people and talking. So yeah, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about a bit about myself, my work, and especially how did I get where I am today. So and maybe a bit of process and everything. So I'll start from the beginning. So it all started here. This is me. 2007, I was like doing graffiti all the time. It was really my passion. I was really into it. This was my life for 10 years, just like doing graffiti, drawing letters late at night, and reading a lot of magazines, graffiti magazines. This was something really like that brought me to this kind of world where I didn't really like belong to this, but I was like, okay, like I'm doing it, and I really loved, watching those magazines, watching those graffiti artists doing amazing things. At the end, I just like made letters and magazines, designing magazines and putting my typeface into magazines. So still kind of the same when I was 10 years old, but in a bit like more far away. But anyway, so getting back a bit earlier, I'm coming from a small village in south of France called Prat-le-Lez, so really small town. There I lived for 18 years, and I studied applied art and design in high school. Because I was really a lot into graffiti, a bit of a joke. Like I was doing a graffiti under a bridge. I was like maybe 10 years old, and there's this older guy coming to me. It's like, oh, you're doing graffiti, and it's cool. I was like, yeah, I want to do this all my life. Like, what is the job to do like graffiti all of your life? It was like graphic designer. You need to be a graphic designer. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a graphic designer. So I ended up studying graphic design. I quit graffiti at one point, but like. So after high school, I went to l'École des Arts Décoratifs de Strasbourg. So it was a great experience because I had, like great teachers, and it was a lot of, experimenting with a lot of mediums, meeting a lot of people, and really like creating and developing my own sensibility. So I was making a lot of, editorial project, fanzines, taking found footage, collage, and videos. I would do this for this project. Actually, I did a little like lunch at my apartment where some white wine and like beers, and just like showing the video and giving this magazine to my friends. So just like taking pictures, traveling, and putting this into books. This was from a trip to New York when I did an internship at Print and Matter in 2015. So a lot of making books, collage. This was really what I was into at the time. And then, but I felt like something was missing because okay, I did like study in Strasbourg. It was like a lot of artistic stuff. I wanted to do some stuff, but I felt like the technical skills were missing a bit. So I was like, okay, I need to go to Switzerland, where I can really learn, like typography and like, book and grids and rules. So I went to ECAL in Lausanne, uh, and here it was really, really learn how to draw typefaces, from the scratch with the pen and with great teachers, and really developing this into like then digital, working on books, on grades, understand how a graphic system works, how a grid works, how you really like arm yourself and have your tools to really create cool designs. So yeah, still doing like kind of side projects, magazines, everything, posters, playing around with type. This is all ECAL projects, and I also kept doing photography. Um, it was something that I really love, but I was more interested into this kind of corporate stock imagery and like technology. Of course, this is a project that I made at my dentist actually, and like just took some pictures of like people smiling and having these kind of technical objects. And yeah, like I was like curious about like how technology could be represented and these kind of artifacts, and so I made also books with photography, and this actually led me a bit early to CGI, 3D. So I was doing these artworks on Photoshop and like Cinema 4D and just like playing around, late at night on my computer, just posting some stuff on Instagram. There's this French beat maker called Mythsizer who like hit me up on Instagram. I was like super huge fan of him, and it was like, yeah, do me a cover. Like it never went out, but I was really proud of this. It's like yeah, combining the Photoshop stuff and like just playing around. But then I posted it on Instagram, and like these guys from Tunica magazine just called me, and I've met them in New York, a bit earlier. It's like, okay, we want to do like spreads with your, kind of stylish stuff that you do. At that time, I was also interning at Golgotha, a French studio in Paris, making a lot of also CGI, that kind of style. And then yeah, so this magazine actually led to artworks that were exhibited in Mexico, and then also in New York. And so it was great, traveling, showing the work and meeting a lot of people. Sorry, just 1 second. Yeah. Then Germany. Uh, I went to Bureau Bosch for 6 months, and it was a crazy experience. Really working closely. I was actually sitting right there in front of Mirko. And yeah, so what was great is like, so I had this kind of technical luggage from ECAL and everything, so I knew how to, make design. And he gave me the lead, like first off, first week or maybe second week, just, okay, we have this big Nike project, you just like, do like, I'm giving you the email client, the email of the client and everything. It's like, that's your project. I was like, okay, and just like you're playing around, you're generating like symbols, language, really like this was for 3 pair of shoes, referred to like a space program in China, of like something really like technical. So I just like digged into reference from like old, China ads and like crazy like space stuff, and then creating this kind of posters. I've printed some. You can check after the talk. Yeah, so Bureau Bosch was really cool. I had to work on a lot of Nike, but yeah, doing logo, talking with the client. This super paper, also I have it here, which is this kind of monthly journal that he makes, and you have creative freedom with the artist Jan Dalpra, playing around with typography, and of course magazines, my first love. So yeah, I worked for Touche, like making these crazy typefaces and like fashion magazines. Kaleidoscope, one of my favorite magazines about art, and I had to like make spreads for it. So I was like super happy to work for this, because like yeah, 2 months before I was reading it, I was like, oh, this magazine's so good. Yeah, and then also I've worked on a lot of projects, but like corporate identity within fashion. So for Marcelo Burlon, an Italian guy. So really like the corporate stuff, box, going to like everything really exhaustive. And I've created this kind of graphics also for the show. He was like emailing me like, yeah, maybe you can try this, that. I was like, okay, I'm sending it to InDesign, and 3 days before I'm going online, After, sorry, 3 days after, I'm going online. I'm seeing the show in Milan. It's like every like InDesign spreads that I did, it's like all over the clothes for real. I was like, okay, didn't hear from them. Okay, nice. Yeah, so it was like kind of crazy to see that, and this really like made me okay. Fashion is crazy. Like I want to do fashion, so Paris. Yeah, I went to Paris, and I've a lot of friends there. Also my girlfriend, and I started, maybe like going out a lot because actually, like people told me, yeah, if you want to meet people in Paris and work and doing a network, you have to go out, drink some beers with the people. I was like, okay, and so I went out a lot, before COVID and everything, and I met some really cool guys like Tristan Bagot, Il Studio, like people who really like like it was like in a party, like, okay, you want to work? Like maybe I sent an email, 1 week later I received an email. I was not believing it, but it was true. So I made some projects, still in this kind of collage stuff from Strasbourg. Like I like to show you the kind of, where I'm come from, because you can see some elements of my work still appears. It's like this is 1 year ago for Remova, some collage, work a lot also for days. So a lot of freelance projects, generating graphic language, stickers. This was for Heron Preston for Miami Art Basel, stickers on a furniture. And making books, so a lot of fashion, a lot of graphic elements. I was really into that. And then, so I got a call from Marine Serre. So for those who don't know her, she's like fashion designer who won the LVMH prize in 2017. And yeah, so I've got a call from her. It's like, okay, I'm gonna. So it was COVID, and like fashion was like no show. So it was like, I'm making a movie, and I need the poster and the credits and everything. So I was like, okay, and I did maybe like 400 posters. Like, okay, and just like playing around with the movie, which is beautiful, with the image, with the stills, and like generating also a graphic language for it. And then okay, so this was one project. Then she called me back, and this is super important project for me. It's called a Corps. So Marine like called me and say, okay, I want to make a book, but really like an archive book of all of my collections. Like super old and super into fashion, and like did everything, but I want it now. Okay, and I have 1,000 images, and just do it and do whatever you want. I'm like, okay, so just like going through all the images. Thinking about art direction, references, going to see Marine every Monday in her office in Paris. And, really playing around with everything. And it results in a lot of, in a book that has a, really like gritty Swiss system, but also this kind of loose energy of like collage and like, this kind of raw and organic feeling that Marine wanted also. And I think that marries well with like both of my studying. This is the post. Actually, the book is here, and it was crazy because he was really going from the first references to going to the printer, in Grenoble, and like say, okay, yeah, the paper is good, okay, like it was super nice to work on a project like this, and there was like 1,000 copies, so just only the VIPs get it. So I was like, okay, maybe A$AP Rocky saw my book. I was like, okay, cool, and then so something that I wanted also to talk about. Maybe I talk a bit fast. Marine Serre is really into like sustainability, and like she's thinking about the environment and like carbon footprint and everything. And this is something I really like came across. And like, okay, this is something that is close to my heart, because I think as a designer, like we have a role to play in terms of responsibility, right? So I think it's important because we're making images, we're making typeface, and we communicate on this. Since like music, art can communicate ideas, and I think we can really like through design change some minds. Maybe one mind is enough. So it's like, okay, I'm really into this kind of sustainable stuff, and I think there's something to do here. This is stills from an ongoing project for a brand called Pangaea. Which is also a sustainable brand working with science and technology to develop clothes. So I can't really show the video right now, but some still. And this led me to CGI, so 3D. So this is something that is super important within my practice, and I kept doing within these years in Strasbourg, in ECAL, and so I was just playing around with with texturing, lighting, and it was for me rediscovering photography, but through the computer, and was like, okay, we can make really crazy stuff with CGI. So I just played around with some object that I loved, New Tendency, Remova, just making composition. And what I loved about CGI is like, okay, so yeah, maybe what is design? What is the role of design? For me, it's just like create your own universe and actually make the image that you want to see in the world. So it's like CGI is a great tool because you can make, I mean, everything possible. So like everything you can imagine, you can make mostly. And I was like, this is great. I wanna dig into that. And there is this kind of also technical challenge of like, you need to learn hard, like a lot of tutorials and everything, just to make a like beautiful poetic image that you can have, in photography or something. But I really love this idea of spending a lot of time to create one image, just for one feeling, just one look, and but there's so much like work behind, like texturing, lighting, and like I think I love the idea of like a lot of technology can create just a simple image. I like this idea. So yeah, New Tendency, product design. This was also for Remova, played around with also creating this whole universe thing, playing around with some imagined objects. So, okay, Young Guns, this is a project that I've made in ECAL with a friend called Marvin Armand. This was super interesting because for me, this project is really kind of combining everything that I want to do. So it started with an idea, with a concept of like, okay, it's like the influence of guns in America on teenagers, and we came across so many like advertisings and like old archives of like hunting magazine, like kids with real weapons and everything. I was like, this is crazy. We need to do something about it. So kind of going into that lens, so creating this kind of real weapon imagery in CGI and make it a bit toyish, like a bit childish, and making a magazine with a lot of collage and archiving, and yeah, putting this CGI image within the magazine. There's also a video, and I really like this project because I think it has like really art direction, a real storytelling, a real concept, and mixing CGI and graphic design. This is actually my goal going forward. I think I really want to generate this kind of new language by combining CGI and graphic design, and I think we can really generate new stories. And I think that the main goal is just tell stories to people, and yeah. So this project reflects, I think, for me what I'm striving for. Going back to sustainability. I'm also super interested in internet and in technology. So I've also made this project in ECAL called Sustainable Digital Ecosystem. It's a journal of like graphics, and it's just like okay, 1 hour of video on smartphone and tablet, more electricity than a fridge for a year. So it's like really this kind of crazy stuff that a search on Google Cloud, as they say, hit a cup of tea. So it's like this kind of sentence that we see that internet has a real impact on on the world and on the carbon footprint. So I think it's important to raise that question. And yeah, also kind of I'm super interested in human rights, obviously, and like internet I think is like a world but just digital, but it's real, it exists. And so I made a small like manual of like with 21 simple action to become almost invisible on internet, because you can't really be invisible when you're internet. But and so yeah, I did this book. I think it's interesting for two reasons. Because first of all, it's a book, so it's not online, so it's kind of going against all this like digital stuff. And I use also something that I do a lot, this corporate imagery, stock image and everything, kind of as a own visual language, and to kind of go against this corporation and these corporate entities. And I think this is something really interesting, as hacking a visual language on a culture to tell something about it that's wrong about it. And that's something I really love to play with. Telling stories. This is still from my diploma project at ECAL called Read Only Memory. So the film was about mind uploading. So it's basically putting a microchip on your brain, and then you can relive any memory of anyone. So it doesn't really exist right now. It's kind of a dystopic feeling. I'm a big fan of the TV show Black Mirror, and yeah, it was super inspired by that. And actually, this project also talks about my grandfather, who took a lot of pictures in his life. He was like traveling around the world and just like walking around and took a lot of pictures. And I when he passed away, I like 1,000 pictures of it. I was like, okay, I need to do something about it. It's like, what if I could relive, those memories through a microchip? And like, so the full video is about this idea of a memory coming to life. So nature being scanned from this memory, and like getting stored in this like kind of microchip that is in these data centers. And so it's really like also a dystopia. And I think it's interesting, this idea of utopia and dystopia, and like within how technology can affect us as humans. I think it's super interesting, and to bring in my personal history, and to give you a little sensitivity, and also this kind of corporate touch, because it's like kind of the movie is a branding for this microchip. Um, oh yeah, some still from it. I'm gonna show you an extract just after this. Um, Okay, uh, and I wanna finish on this. This is my bachelor thesis that I did in ECAL, called Futures. Because of course I do all this visual work and everything, but I really also love to think about design, about why I'm designing, and what am I doing in design. And so yeah, I'm super interested in the future of our job. And I was like seeing all these AI and machines, like, okay, what's my role? Like, if a machine can do trendy stuff on Instagram, or like all that stuff, okay, what do I have to play here? So I did a lot of research into it, and about critical thinking and speculative design, and a whole world like open to me of like, so yeah, the thesis is based on how how we can think about design of the future. So, and with technology, talking also about technology, I'm talking about also the time, and I'm talking about some reference with the cooking and everything. So ultra related, some a lot of concepts, but but I think, yeah, this thesis um, is really about the future of design. And I think we can work with like machines to create images. And like I also work a lot with artificial intelligence to generate images. And I think if you have like good storytelling, good art direction, and you can lead the machine to make all the executive work, and you can leave the room to just think about creativity, like problem solving, and like sensitivity and human stuff, it could be a great way to work with machines. But I do believe also that design of the future will be more um, rare. Like, I mean, I think like everything now, everyone can be a designer. And like images, like I see images, thousands of images every day that are like produced, reproduced, and then trendy, going to trash. And like, and I think being a good designer is also telling great story through images. Being skillful, I think skills are really important in our modern world, because you can make so great stuff also with all of these technological tools, CGI and everything. And I think we are really like the generation of the future. Like, we are living it right now. So just creating a lot of images using this technology, experiment everything without really referencing or saying, okay, I gotta make work thinking visually or everything, but just trying out, because we are like creating the language of tomorrow, I think. And yeah, so basically this is what I'm striving for. Keep experimenting, and generate this kind of language using all of these mediums, keeping this kind of graphic design approach to give structure to the projects. And yeah, so basically I'm gonna show you. So thank you. I'm gonna show you a bit. I have a lot of. I just show you a lot of still images now, but I'm doing also a lot of video and motion design. I didn't have the time to show you all the videos, so I made a little show reel that I'm gonna show you now. And there's a lot of video that I talked about in here. Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much. If you have any question, don't hesitate. Thank you so much for hearing me. Thank you. Also, I've so brought some posters and some books if you want to check some printed matter. Yeah, and if you have any question, don't hesitate. If I went too fast, maybe. Yep.
So you talked about a lot of future and the design. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Do you still want to learn more skills and want to learn more about everything, or what's your plan?
So I have a lot of plans actually, but yeah, I think 10 years. I definitely not will not be in Paris. I think, but yeah, I think I still want to do. I still want to create. Of course, I know like I'm like giving work more and more to like people, working with people, and like delegate and art directing, project. But I really love being in the core of like creating, even going to the printer for this book, or really creating, understands like CGI, challenges, because I think even if you want to be an art director, at the end you need to know, really the techniques of how we can make an image. So this is something really important for me. So I still want to create, I think, all my life. But of course, my big dream would be to build my own studio somewhere sunny, maybe in south of France, or somewhere. And just my plan is now being a bit in Paris, maybe in New York, because I really love the city. And making connections, meeting people, really meeting people and work with them, do like crazy cool projects, and then when I'm tired of like all the city life, creating your own studio with like people that I love, friends, talented people, and working on various projects, and of course using machines. And I'm super curious about how the future is going to be. And that's what I was saying, like we are making it. So like it's like I think I want to keep experiment, keep crafting those skills, and being able to make images and to keep up with the world, with the technology and everything. But yeah, still making movies, images, music, books. 10 years, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Any more questions? Oh, yeah. Is that right?
Thank you for a great talk.
Thanks. It doesn't work. I can hear you.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Do you think that speculative design plays in future a bigger role?
Sorry, I didn't.
Do you think that speculative design plays in the future a bigger role? I think I'm really interested.
Yeah, I do believe that speculative design will be a major part, because I think it's really important to ask questions about, of course, what are we doing. And one of my favorite graphic designer also is David Rudnick, and he's really thinking about. He's from Yale, so a lot of people from there, really learn critical design and speculative and everything. And so, doing my thesis, I read a lot about those guys. Also, Meta Haven. And I think it's super important to have that, this critical thinking about design, because that give depth to what we do, and the meaning of it, like I can't make an image, say, just for the sake of it. And yeah, someone say also Ekal, really makes people, that makes, image that works, that really like, that sells, actually, that makes money. And like, of course, and that's why I'm super also happy to have been to Strasbourg before, because I had this more human approach and like artistic approach, and thinking about what you are doing, concept wise. And I think this is super relevant, and more so today and in the future, because there are going to be so many designers, because it's so easy now with tutorials and everything, and so many talented people. And I think the people they are going to like step aside and being great designers are the people, like reading, thinking about the practice, being critical, of course, making great images and work. But I think it's super important to stay sharp and stay, educated on what you are making. And I mean, speculative design is really fun. You can imagine, everything that's going to happen. You can, it's it's really dreaming about projects, and it's like, okay, and it's like when you see this, I don't know which Stanley Kubrick movie, there's this kind of screen where, he talks with mother, and this is Skype basically, and he thought about it, way before, and this is like actually happening in the real world. So I think there's a real, leverage to thinking about those ideas of the future, because at one point it's going to exist. I just remember, something I didn't talk about. When I was in Strasbourg, I did a film about Second Life, a quick video, and it's basically the metaverse, like right now. And I was like, yeah, it's happening, and it's always like that, like Black Mirror, always, okay, it's crazy, and then it's happening. It's like, yeah, we're in it. We're living in this utopia, dystopia, or this future. It's right now. So I think it's major to think about what you're creating and what you are going to create in the future. Yeah. Any more questions?
I have another one. When you're doing design, Hi.
Oh yeah, it's more, yeah.
When you're doing design, do you trust into the process, or do you have an aim and work until you feel that you get that aim?
I wish I could say process, but I really think about an image first. I'm doing this thing every night before sleeping. I'm thinking about my projects, even like also I have a lot of personal projects that I'm working on besides from client work. I think that's super important. But yeah, so I'm always thinking, okay, it's going to look like this, and then I'm going to show it to these people in this room, and always thinking about actually how it's going to get. So maybe it's a flow, but yeah, and then the process learn also, it's a learning point for me. But I like to control the process because I like to say, okay, sometimes it's changing. Sometimes I see an image, and I like, okay, how did he make it? And I love this kind of when you don't know how the guy make the image or the girl make the image. It's like I think it's super interesting, and I'm seeking really this feeling. So I'm like, okay, I want to be in control in my tools with my tools. I like to say, okay, I want to make an image like this, so I know which tool to use to do it. For client work and everything, it's always kind of my process in a way. And for more personal projects like film, CGI and everything, here I let a lot of space to experimentations, to process. And I think and this generous, as you saw the artworks that I was doing with this kind of 3D stuff, this poster then lead me to these magazines. Actually, so the personal work really is useful because clients the word you put into your Instagram and website, that's the work the clients are going to call you for. And I think so it's super important to give this experimentation field of keep creating and really believe in the process. And when you work with AI, you have to trust the process, because there's the output, you guys say, okay, it's going to be a bit crazy image, but you don't know how it's going to be. And so there's a level of control of it. But that's also what I love, the poetry of when machine creates images, you give this machine to go, okay, do your poetry and do your code, and then you're gonna interpret it in some ways. But so I think both are important. But personally, I mostly think about the end result. And sometimes it's different, and I'm super happy with it. Sometimes it's different, I'm super not happy. But yeah, definitely the process is something also super important, and you should trust it, definitely.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Was a question? Oh yeah.
I think it's working. Okay. So we are doing a project right now on the future of advertisement, and so I'm coming back now to speculative design. I was just wondering, because you're also very interested in future technologies, what do you think will play a major role in future advertisement, and what might be the one big player? You already talked about the metaverse, but maybe also VR, AR, smart glasses. What do you think will play a major role, and how do you feel about it?
Oh yeah, so thank you. Super interesting question, because I'm really into this kind of stuff right now. So yeah, I was talking about the metaverse. Really obsessed with it. I think we are at the points of the first movie ever it's called Train arrivant en gare de la Ciotat from Lumiere Brothers. So, like, people in the theater, like for the train are like coming right at us. And I think we are at this point in like VR and AR and everything. So there's everything to create. So I think, of course, this is going to be a major role because it's immersive, and like I think immersion is like the main thing that the Silicon Valley people want to push forward. And I think, as artists and designers, we have our voice to make it less dystopian than it seems. This Mark Zuckerberg video and everything is like super creepy in a way, but I think we can really, in terms of experience, because I think that actually experience in design is crazy. Experiencing a movie like VR headset, now it's like you have 30 minutes and then you have a big headache. And I did a project in VR. It's super nice, but I think we're really in the early stages of this process, but it's going to be like super like everywhere soon, I believe, 5-10 years, and it's going to be like everyone's going to use it. Our children going to have the helmet, the VR helmet. I think this is going to play a major role, but I think always as artists, how we can play with that, how we can tell stories, that are, powerful, relevant with our tools, with CGI. Now we can create, this crazy, like, I don't know if you know Unreal Engine or like MetaHumans, all of this stuff, like photorealistic CGI. So imagine you like within the world, with the VR set, it's like super photoreal. So you live an experience, take a walk, I don't know, you see your ex-girlfriend or something. And it's crazy because she seems super real and the nature seems super real. And so I don't think your brain can think that was a real experience that you lived. So it's super dangerous and also super crazy when you think about it. And that's, for me, it's super exciting because as a designer, I think, man, you can really like think of like crazy stuff to make in this world. And I also think that design, graphic design, more, this kind of 2D thing should also like be thought in like four dimensions, like thinking about, moving type or like just, we don't, we have to think about not a screen or something flat, but something around us, like really, and how make great design, like around us. Imagine a poster 360, that's crazy to think, but I think in 10 years there are going to be so beautiful posters, like wow, and crazy. So yeah, everything here hasn't been done, and I think as artists and designers, we really have a like powerful voice, to generate, this kind of super cool stories and beautiful design and high-end, design, and I think now it's a lot about video games, about social media and everything. But in terms of experience, what you could feel from a design work, I know for Maritza maybe it was a book. I think Balenciaga is super. They're super, strong with this, with VR. They did a collection of Fortnite and everything. I think Demna is someone really like thinking about the future in a super smart way. This guy, you should like follow what they're doing because they're really ahead of the time, I think. And yeah, it's gonna change everything: fashion, design, movies. Every experience that we had in the digital world is going to be like way more, enhanced, and it's gonna be, I think, crazy. So we should think about how we can make it super cool with super good design, like crazy experiences. I think that's one of my goal, and I hope one of yours too. Maybe I answered your question. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Thanks.
You come from a very analog route with the graffiti, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but now it seems like your process is very digital and you're very, very immersed in the digital technology. What would you say, what's your relationship now between analog and digital, and do you maybe miss the analog process, or how did it change for you?
So yeah, it's true that my life was really analog before all this CGI and computer stuff. But I think everything is kind of related. Like as doing graffiti or even photography, you're looking for places, like hidden places, going around, and it's like I always try to translate an analog experience into a digital experience. So what I'm doing is I have an office in Paris with two friends, and I'm printing a lot actually what comes from the screen to have a real sense of what I'm doing when I work on a print project, but also on also on digital images, because I always love to see print stuff. And I do also a lot of collage, and there's a part of my work that I also didn't show you today, but it's a project that I want to do. It's kind of an artistic project. Actually, I can show you. And so because I had this, oh yeah, I don't have internet, but it's alright. And I really have this kind of artistic approach in Strasbourg, using really like analog means. So really cutting a paper, doing collage, even some painting or drawing. And I'm still drawing a lot. When I do a CGI image, I'm drawing it at first. So I still have this practice, but it's less shown in the final work. And I think definitely it's like 80% digital and maybe 20% analog. But yeah, I think it's still relevant to do analog work today. And yeah, but maybe it's also interesting to kind of mix both of the stuff. Working with collage and then CGI, or like this is something I really want to explore also, photography, and then mixing it. There's a few studios in Paris that are making this, and I think it's super cool. Also a field like full of things to do. But yeah, maybe I became a bit lazy also with the computer. I don't know, but yeah, definitely I wanna still doing analog, because I think it's super relevant to make analog today. And when I saw the book of Marin Sarr, touching like the experience is so different than just a digital image. And even yesterday I was printing the Nike poster. I was like, oh, like seeing it in reals like gives you something really really cool as an experience. So I was like, yeah, I need to keep doing analog work. Yeah, just this project. It's an ongoing project. So this is CGI, right? But it's kind of this artifacts of sculpture that I want to do in real scale. And yeah, it's just playing around with a lot of technological elements like 3D printers and like cars, parts and everything. And this is something I really want. So from the digital to the analog world, and really make this come to life. And I think it's also, we can think as digital as a great tool to conceptualize ideas. And as we're talking about speculative design, I think CGI is also a great way to just generate an idea and then make it real. So right now I don't have also all the like resources to make it real. But this is something I really want to push, some kind of also sculpture to display some videos that I make. So yeah, definitely analog is really something that I love and I want to keep doing. So yeah, that also answer your question. Or yeah, cool. Any more questions? Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, you can check the books and the posters, and if you want to ask me a question, I'll be here and have a beer after. So thank you so much for listening to me. And also one last thing, if you want to, yeah, so I mentioned a lot of video works and everything, so don't hesitate to, send me a message on Instagram or an email, and I can send you the links if you're interested in seeing the videos that I've made in the full length. So don't hesitate to, shoot me a message. I will respond to you. All right, let's get some beers.
The question actually came from the YouTube chat,
Yep.
and they wanted to know if you offer internships.
So internships, yeah, actually 2000, yeah, in January I will need interns, I think. So send your resume to my email. Or shoot me a message on Instagram, and we can talk. But yeah, I'm definitely looking for interns in the coming weeks or months. So don't hesitate to send me your stuff.
Voll. Obwohl könnte es gar nicht. Nur so eine Kinder. Aber. Wir sehen uns da und dann
Ja, gleich.
geht jetzt alles mit der Frage beantwortet?
Warte, was? Also Antonias Frage wurde beantwortet, ja.
Ah, okay. Sollen wir dann die Verlosung machen?
Wie bitte?
Sollen wir dann die Verlosung machen?
Ja, können wir gleich machen. Könntest du noch kurz diese kleinen Mobile-Teile mal hochnehmen? Also einfach ein bisschen zeigen. Nee, nicht mit dem Glas, sondern nur einzeln. Warte. Ja. Nice.
Soll ich zwei nehmen?
Ja, kannst du vielleicht beide.
Ist das zu viel von der
Warte. Halt mal Büro S vor deiner Hand. Genau. Sehr schön. Da kann ich irgendwie mit der Kamera nicht näher ran, weil der Autofokus nicht so nah ist. Nein. Ja. Auch wieder irgendwas dahinter halten. Irgendetwas dahinter halten, damit man es einmal drehen. Ich sag, ihr seid nicht so richtig zu erkennen, aber der Einsatz ist auf jeden Fall da. Der ist da. So. Cool. Ja. Okay. Ich kann nicht winken, ich habe keine Hand frei. Ja. Ja. Und nochmal vielleicht eine andere Form. Nochmal Friederike. Oder einfach, ja, nochmal. Nice. Cool. Ja.
I was super bad in math. I was not listening. I was like, I'm doing graffiti, you know. Yeah. And now I'm like, I hate myself. So this I really regret. Otherwise, all good.
Basile, I don't want to interrupt you, but maybe you can say the last few words for the viewers of the stream, because we're going to end it right now.
Okay.
Aber bist du soweit? Bist du?
Oh yeah, I forgot the streamers.
Okay. So, now.
Right now, yeah. Thank you so much for following the talk. Hope you like it. Hope it was interesting. And as I was saying in the audience, if you have any questions, if you want to see any project for them or get in contact with me for internships or just like talking, don't hesitate to shoot me a message on Instagram or send me an email. I think you can send the KD Lounge Instagram all of my infos. So yeah, don't hesitate, and thank you so much for following it. I'm super happy that you listen to me, and have a nice one, and hope to speak with you soon. Ciao ciao.